Hey, what's up, you guys? Rodney Skinner here. I just wanted to pop on here just to share with you guys some of my honest thoughts about the state of musicianship today within gospel music and church musicians as well. And so for me, as a millennial and growing up in church, and for me, I was the youngest in the band, and it pretty much consists of 3 keyboardists, and I was the youngest one. And we had a drummer as well. We also had a guitarist and an occasional percussionist. And so for me, when I started, I was an auxiliary keyboardist. And for those who don't know, auxiliary keyboards consist of horns, synths, pads, strings, and other bells and whistles. And so that's what I did at the same time while developing my piano technique, especially amongst my left hand as it pertains to left hand chords. And so for me growing up and having your big brothers who is like mentors to you, and so for me, I'm grateful to God for the big brothers that God placed into my life to really show me the do's and don'ts, and to really, who love me enough to correct me when I'm wrong, and I'm grateful for that, And so that's the thing, you should always have someone who cares about you enough to correct you. I know we're living in a time where people don't want to be told anything, where people are so quick to get upset and offended when somebody tries to correct you on something, and and they try to take it to social media to try to put that person on blast, and it's really sad, and so that's the thing. And so you want to have someone in your life who cares enough about you to correct you when you're out of order, when you're wrong, And so that's nothing but love, and they want to see you successful. They want to see you be great, So that's the thing. You got to be able to take correction, constructive criticism, And so I'm grateful to God for that. And now for me, when it comes to playing with guys amongst my age bracket, honestly, when it comes to playing with other guys, and I'm seeing guys, my peers, and no doubt about it, they can play. But as a band, and how everything sounds unorganized, and everything sounds like an argument. It sounds like the women on The View talking over each other and nobody's being heard. And everybody wants to be heard, but nobody's really learning anything because everyone is talking all at once. It's the same thing with musicianship amongst church musicians, in music ministry today. We're hearing a lot of people being all over the place, and it doesn't sound like a conversation. It sounds more like an argument. Bass players all over the place, drummers all over the place, keyboardists and organists not being cohesive and feeding off of each other. Just a whole lot of clashing, and it doesn't sound like music, And you have people in the congregation looking at the band and not really with awe and fascination, but looking at the band like they can't even clap their hands, they can't even pat their foot, they can't even dance, they can't even groove because everybody is all over the place, And it's sad. And so for me, when it comes to playing with other musicians, honestly, guys within my age bracket, as great as they sound individually, but as a band, coming together, never mind. I'm pretty much, I lean towards playing guys who are older than me, the generation before me, who preceded me. The musicians I grew up listening to from the 90s, 80s, and 70s, whose music is conversational. The musicianship is conversational. It sounds like a conversation amongst friends. And that's what shaped my musicianship. That's what shaped my playing. That's what shapes my composition, my songwriting. I want it to sound like a conversation. Even in an MD situation, I want us to have a conversation. Everybody going for blood and everything, that's not going to happen. With me at the helm, it's not going to happen. And so we got to sound like a unit. We got to sound polished. We got to sound like we're uniform. So that's the thing. Bass players and drummers need to be locked in the pocket. Bass players need to create bass lines, catchy bass lines. And let me tell you, when you think about songs like Billie Jean, what's the first thing you hear? That haunting bass line, that haunting, catchy bass line. That's the first thing you hear. And so that's the thing. When it comes to songs that are classics, Billie Jean, Before I Let You Go, Superstition, I Wish, and the list goes on and on and on. Let's Groove, September. The bass line is what comes to mind. It's so catchy and so hypnotic. The bass line, the melody, the groove, it's so memorable that you can hum it today. You can sing it today. And so that's the thing. Once people hear September, when Earth, Wind, and Fire do September Live, everybody goes crazy because it takes them back to when they first heard it. And so that's the thing. And so when it comes to musicianship, church musicians in particular, we gotta sound like a unit. And so it has to be a conversation. That's what it is. It's a conversation amongst friends. If the keyboardist is trying to say something, you don't get in his way. If the bass player wants to throw in a little something here and there, don't get in his way. Drummers who want to throw in a nice chop, a nice fill, don't get in his way. Organists who want to throw in a little something nice, don't get in his way. Don't get in each other's way. Have a conversation, not an argument. Stop trying to talk over everybody. We're having a conversation. We're all friends. And so that's the thing. That's what musicianship should be. Yeah, we're the new generation and everything. And the question is, all this talk about changing the game, are we really changing the game, or do we have a different way of tying a rhythm? I.e., the runs, execution of runs and chops and fills and things like that. We may have a different way of finessing as it pertains to runs and chops and licks. We have a different way of landing a playing, but the formula for what makes a song remains the same. Drummers and bass players need to be locked in the pocket. Keyboardists and organists need to be cohesive and feed off of each other. Decide who's going to play rhythm chords, who's going to play bed chords. And so that's the thing. Communication. That's what rehearsals are for. That's what band rehearsals are for. To get this thing right, to get this thing tight. And so that's the thing, And so for me, I would love to play with guys in my age bracket, And so I would love to play with guys, who are in my age, But I would love, and I don't know how this is going to sound to you, but show me a guy or girl who has the discipline of a seasoned veteran, And so you got to be disciplined. You got to know when and when not. It's important because our goal as a band is to make the singers sound good, is to make the choir sound good. That's the thing. We're a support system. And so that's what it is. It's different from being a band like Snarky Puppy, And so that's the thing, And musicianship today, gotta stop looking at the guys who are on IG and TikTok, how everybody is all over the place. For me growing up, I had CDs. I even had cassettes. I even had VHSs growing up. and how I would rewind and fast forward certain parts when I would hear something that a keyboardist would do. And I would rewind it or fast forward it and be like, what made him want to do that right there? You know? And so what was he thinking when he was doing this? Those chords are nice, so sweet, you know? Like, what was he thinking when he did that right there? You know? And so I had a lot of questions. I was intrigued, you know? And so that's the thing, you know? And the thing is, social media is not a bad thing at all. I know a lot of people have opinions about social media. Honestly, you know, when it comes to social media, the question is, what do you intend to do with it? What are your intentions? You know, and there are some people who are on here just for fun, and there are some people on here who want to share what it is that they love to do. Their gifts, their talents, their passions, to inspire others to be great at what it is that you do, you know? And so for me, when it comes to my platforms, I try to do exactly that, to encourage and inspire people to be great at what it is that you do. I love music. I love making music. That's what I share. And that's the thing. Even when it comes to the things I talk about, you know, it's to inspire others, you know? And so that's the thing. We're all in this together. And God has given each and every one of us a gift. And He's entrusting us to continue to use our gifts so that we can inspire others. Give Him glory first and foremost, and to inspire others. And so that's what it's all about. And so that's the thing. And so when it comes to musicianship, we have to sound like a unit. It has to be a conversation. That's all it is. Just having a conversation. Having some good laughs, enjoying each other's company. That's what it's about. And giving God glory on our instruments. Giving Him the praise and the honor that He's due of. So that's the thing, that's what it's all about. And so, if I encourage you with anything, is to be the best that you can be. Understand that as a band, we are in this thing together. We should all be focused on the same goal, to give God glory and to make good music for people to enjoy and to be inspired by. That's the thing. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Just wanted to share with you what was on my mind concerning the state of musicianship today, and just my honest thoughts. I'm a millennial who grew up listening to the music from the 90s, 80s, and 70s, and that's what shaped who I am today as an independent artist. And I have a project out entitled Christmas Chronicles. I want to do something special for the holiday season by putting songs together arranged by yours truly, in addition to original pieces as well. And so I want to do something to encourage people to take time to reflect and think about all that God has done for us, despite all that's happened throughout this year. To encourage people to take time and reflect. And what better time than Christmas time to think about all that God has done for us throughout the year, everything we've accomplished thus far, to look back with gratitude. And so that's what this album, Christmas Chronicles, is about. And so it's available on all digital outlets. Go check it out. Support independent artists who are dedicated to using their gifts to inspire you to rise and be the best you that you can be. God bless you guys. Peace.